Welcome to another Resident Evil video. This time, it's about one of my all-time favourite Resident Evil games, possibly even in the top 5 in the whole franchise. It's Resident Evil Outbreak File 1 and File 2 on the PlayStation 2. Capcom tried something different here, and I love them for it, but it's still as much of a pure old-school Resident Evil as you can get. Before I get into the details of what this video is about, here's the opening scene taking place at the very start of the Outbreak, and in my opinion, it's the best opening to a Resident Evil game ever, bar none. So what exactly is this video? It's my attempt to put the entire Resident Evil Outbreak saga into one clean chronological timeline, all 10 scenarios, every character placement, every transition from one location to the next, no vagueness, no hedging, no it could be this or maybe that. I'm giving you firm dates, firm movements, and a fully connected narrative from start to finish. More importantly, I'm going to explain why this timeline makes sense, why I think this is the true most accurate chronology for the Outbreak events based on in-game evidence, environmental storytelling, and the wider Raccoon City canon. And just to be clear, this isn't an all cutscenes upload. I'm using selected scenes where they help illustrate the timeline, but the real focus here is the logic that ties everything together. Some characters may appear in scenes they shouldn't, but that's just a technical limitation. So before I stick my neck out and deliver my definitive Outbreak timeline, let me walk you through the key details that shaped every decision. So the first is important events that we know happen. The army comes in on the 25th of September, the UBCS dropped in on the 26th, zombies destroy the RPD on the streets as seen in the RE3 video on the 27th, Jill's last escape starts on the 27th, the RPD is virtually wiped out by the 29th, Leon and Claire in Resident Evil 2 arrive on the 29th, Birkin's lab is destroyed on the 30th of September in the morning, the hospital is destroyed on the 1st of October, everything is destroyed on the 1st of October. Some location clues that have helped me place everything. Characters can't be at the same place and time as Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. Jay's bar is near Apple Inn. Apple Inn door is smashed when you get past it in Outbreak. The hospital has a direct link to Birkin's lab. Birkin's lab is frozen in Resident Evil Outbreak. Arkley Forest is near the marshalling yard. We know that the Arkley Forest is on the boundaries of Raccoon City, therefore so is the marshalling yard, so is below freezing point, and we can take educated guesses on whether the scene is set at night, morning or afternoon on the cutscenes themselves. Files were not really that helpful, but there are a couple. There's a Hellfire guest memo on the 23rd of September. In Hellfire again, the janitor's memo ends on the 23rd of September. Decisions. There's a bloodstained memo left for George. Wild Things evacuation order instructs people to go to the zoo. Wild Things, there's a memo specifically left for Alyssa. In Desperate Times, the bomb is set. Desperate Times again, police diary ends after the 23rd of September. So the files aren't that useful, but we can use them a little bit. Character points are really crucial for this timeline. So in Outbreak, Mark has exclusive scenes. In Underbelly, Jim works there, knows the way, may have led them there for that reason. Wild Things, Cindy is in the cutscenes, whether you pick her or not, and Alyssa finds exclusive notes just for her. In the Hive, George is a doctor, but it is also the entry to Birkin's lab. In Below Freezing Point, Yoko is definitely in the scene, so she has to be there. Flashback, Alyssa is in the scene, so she has to be there. Desperate Times, Kevin has a reason to get there, but there's no canonical scenes. Decisions, George is in the scenes to go there, and Yoko has an exclusive scene with Greg. And End of the Road, David is the canonical character, and someone needs to save Linda because she appears later on in the epilogue. So those are my reasonings. Rather than keep talking, let's just start with the first scenario. The first scenario is definitely Outbreak, which starts on the 24th of September, roughly between the hours of 7:30 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. All 8 characters are present because they all have exclusive scenes, but there is one clear canonical character, which is Mark, because he gets exclusive scenes involving taking Bob to the roof, which this scene is actually included. Now I'll go into this in the Hellfire one, but Outbreak might be the first and only time all 8 characters are in one, because I believe that the team splits into 2 mid-scenario, where one team goes to Hellfire and the other one keeps ploughing on to blow up the road. I've included some of the canonical scenes in the next video.
There was a disruption earlier at today's football match between the Raccoon Sharks and the Old Port Thunders. Apparently the game was interrupted when an unruly fan got out of control and sparked a riot. The number of injured is not yet known.
Aren't you eating anything? Hey, Bob, where's your mind at?
What?
Match between the Raccoon Sharks and the Old Port Thunders. Apparently the game was interrupted when an unruly fan got out of control and sparked a riot. The number of injured is not yet known. That's between the Raccoon Sharks and the Old Court Thunders. Apparently the game was interrupted when an unruly fan got out of control and sparked a riot. The number of injured is not yet known. It's between the Raccoon Sharks and the Old Court Thunders. Apparently the game was interrupted when an unruly fan got out of control and sparked a riot. The number of injured is not yet known. Match between the Raccoon Sharks and the Old Court Thunders. Apparently the game was interrupted when an unruly fan got out of control and sparked a riot. The number of injured is not yet known. Match between the Raccoon Sharks and the Old Court Thunders. Apparently the game was interrupted when an unruly fan got out of control and sparked a riot. The number of injured is not yet known. More than 50 local law enforcement officers on the scene as groups are...
What a weird customer.
Who is this guy? Damn it! He's unconscious. Are you all right?
What are you doing?
After escaping the bottom floor of Jay's bar and heading up, I believe this is the point where the two groups split up amid the chaos. I think Alyssa, Cindy, Yoko and George go through the apartments, and then that's how they end up at Apple Inn for the Hellfire scenario. Kevin, David, Jim and Mark plow on to get to the roof with Bob, and then end up going to detonate all those zombies at the end of Outbreak. These two scenarios at this point happen around the same time, but the group that goes to Apple Inn escape Apple Inn before the Outbreak group get there by some hours. In that time, the fire crew disperse, and then the streets become empty again with just a few cops remaining that you see in the Outbreak scenario. So the next few videos are the blended scenes from Outbreak and Hellfire, showing what I think to be the chronology. Obviously, it's not perfect, but I think it's the best thing that fits with what we've got.
I can't move anymore. I know me, and I'm not gonna be someone else's burden.
Bob, stop!
No, you don't understand, Mark. I'm no different from them. I feel the hunger.
Hey, is anybody there?
Len,
You take downstairs.
What's that?
It's gonna blow!
Get out!
Due to the riots in progress, this area will be closed off soon. Please proceed to this checkpoint immediately. If you do not leave the area in time, we cannot guarantee your safety.
You made it! Get out! Hurry!
You startled me. I'm surprised you're still alive. The whole city's a war zone. We need all the help we can get. Now, move the police car over there to build a barricade. Go! That was close. It's not just the hotel. Now the whole city is burning. You were lucky.
I earned it.
We've been patrolling the city, trying to help those in need, but it's worse than a war zone. The army's been called in. Better get out of the city while you can. I have a very bad feeling.
I clear the smell of smoke from my entire body, but the stench of death still remains. Two things are for certain. I'm alive by some miracle, and the next hell is waiting around the corner.
Oh God, they're getting closer. We gotta go, now! Hey, listen, you should go now.
Huh?
That's a fuel tank. Leak the gas and use it to burn these bastards. Do it now!
This is the Raccoon City Police Department. Please try to stay calm. Vehicles are standing by to commence evacuation. We need everyone here as quickly as possible. That's it then? Get in, please. The highway is too dangerous. We're taking side streets. Damn! Another barricade. As you can see, there are too many roadblocks. I'm afraid you'll have to get out and continue on foot.
Oh, the smell. That's an odor I never want to experience again.
What's taking so long? Hurry up!
I'm trying! I'm almost done!
Hurry! Hurry! This way!
Okay, it's done! Eric!
What should I do? I'm getting too old for this. This was just a horrible situation from the start. But the battlefield is always there to deal with. And you must always fight to win. That was all I could think of at that time.
Yesterday, just before dawn, the Pentagon announced that radioactive waste has been leaked throughout Raccoon City. In accordance with U.S. safety regulations, the city has been placed under quarantine, and the Army has been sent in to investigate and control the situation.
The next chronological scenario, in my opinion, is Underbelly, happening on the 25th of September around mid-afternoon, with a group consisting of Jim, Kevin, Mark and David, who have just escaped from blowing up those zombies in the van. On their way, that van gets derailed, they can't go any further and it's been mobbed by zombies. They've had to escape the van, and the only thing that they can find is a nearby subway station led by Jim. Now, this episode has a clear canonical character, which is Jim. He can start with the key that opens the employee tunnel, and you can reasonably suggest that Jim would suggest going to the subway station because he knows the route. Kevin, Mark and David then go ahead and follow him because it makes perfect sense. So I think this is the next scenario.
As usual, I can hear the zombies moaning someplace far away. Getting out of that subway sure feels good. And I think I used to complain about the rush hour crowd.
The next scenario is Wild Things. It takes place in the evening and into the night of the 25th. The support for this comes from the ending, which you'll see where the National Guard and RPD are apparently still trying to keep things under control. The UBCS don't arrive until the 26th, and the RPD would not fall properly until the 27th. There is also a broadcast going live which says that communication from Raccoon is still going out, which tells us Wild Things happens early on in the outbreak. Lastly, the helicopter crash which we hear about in the game has happened recently, judging by the fact that it's still on fire. I believe that the group heard about a possible evacuation at the zoo from the firefighters at the end of Hellfire, and they head to the zoo on foot. They get some form of confirmation when they arrive from Raymond's note. It's clearly set at night because of the intro looking at the moon. So this is definitely Cindy's scenario, as she has a specific scene and will appear in the level whether you pick her or not. There's also an exclusive memo for Alyssa which nicely places them both here and makes sense why the group from Hellfire then go to Wild Things. So this place is where the team from Hellfire end up, and it helps a lot with the placements later on.
To the citizens of Raccoon City. That looks like the city zoo's rear gate. If a rescue team's on the way, I'd better hurry. I have kind of a bad feeling about this, but it looks like I should check it out. Next time, I want to come on a nice Sunday afternoon. so sleepy. I only wanted to lie down and take a nap. Just a little further and my dreams would be realized. I can't believe I was that naive. No matter how tightly I shut my eyes, I simply couldn't erase what I had already seen.
Police and the National Guard continue their efforts to keep the chaos in the city under some semblance of control. Their mission is proving to be more difficult than even the most
The next scenario is The Hive, happening on September 26th at night. It's an easy one to place because of the process of elimination. First of all, it must happen before October the 1st, where Nikolai destroys it in Resident Evil 3, and it must be before the 27th of September, as there are no UBCS corpses or extensive damage outside of the hospital. George is likely the main character as he's a doctor, but there is no official one. The Hive leads directly into below freezing point, which places Yoko there, so this places the Hellfire and Wild Things team perfectly. My proposed story is this. After the failed evacuation in Wild Things, they get going in the tram, which stops in the city. George suggests going to the hospital, which is nearby where the tram stops. Yoko agrees. She has some form of amnesia, but has a subconscious drive to get there, as deep in her mind she knows the lab has a tunnel which leads to leaving the city. The gaps in time progression is simply time spent navigating the city, which is getting worse by the hour. But overall, the Hive is fairly easy to place because of everything happening before and everything that needs to happen after.
Oh, I apologize if I surprised you. Please, do not be alarmed. I'm a doctor in this hospital. I must say that this hospital is not an ideal place to take shelter. It's not as safe as it may look or sound. I myself have decided to get out of here as soon as possible.
Oh, the bloody elevator isn't working. I'm trying to figure out why. It seems the electricity on this floor is entirely supplied by an auxiliary battery. See if this works.
could do was run about trying to escape. I'm ashamed of surviving like this. And I feel I've forgotten something very important. But why? Perhaps the answer lies ahead.
You're probably thinking at this point that Jim, Kevin, Mark, and David haven't been seen since Underbelly, and they still won't be seen for a while yet until Desperate Times. The cop-out explanation is, I think, when File 3 was meant to be the final project, that it would have probably included some scenarios that covered the dates between the 25th and possibly the 28th a bit more depth, to show where they went from Underbelly after that, before Desperate Times, and then Decisions, and End of the Road. The canonical and the easy to sort of swallow answer would be, from leaving Underbelly into the streets, they just wander around the streets, helping people as they can, trying to find some refuge, trying to make their way to the RPD, because that's where Kevin thinks everyone will be safer at. And that's pretty much the explanation for their movements. They're not involved any massive quest or an adventure. They are simply struggling to stay alive, trying to travel, trying to find somewhere safe, trying to escape. And it takes them just a couple of days of resting, helping survivors where they can, before they finally make their way to the RPD after a couple of days of that. The other group do end up going from one place to another, solving mysteries, solving puzzles, having an adventure. But the easy answer would be Jim, Kevin, Mark, and David just don't. They just go through the streets, nothing story-driven, nothing narrative-driven, just trying to stay alive, travelling through a city which is shown to be much bigger than what Capcom originally described Raccoon as in the first few games. So it's a huge city, which you can see in some of the videos, and that really is the explanation for that group's movements during those couple of days before we see them again in Desperate Times. The next scenario is below freezing point. Happening on the 27th of September, they arrive in the morning and leave the labs at night. It's somewhat straightforward to place due to the Hive having an entrance to the labs, and it must happen before the events of Resident Evil 2, where the lab is thawed out. You may have noticed that I showed Yoko's ending to the Hive. That's because, in my canon, George loses metal after the Hive and doesn't go with them to the laboratory. Yoko explains that she thinks there's a way out through the lab. We know this to be true. George has had enough and doesn't want to go deeper. He, instead, takes his chances on the streets and ends up in the garage of the RPD. Cindy goes with him. She has a thing for George, and they also share a bad ending, so this makes perfect sense. Yoko is most definitely the main character, whether you pick her or not. Alyssa goes with her, as we need to place her later in the outbreak, and as reported, it makes sense for her to want to investigate the outbreak further.
There's no turning back now. But it'll all be worth it.
What's wrong with this thing? Stupid piece of junk. Oh, it's losing electric pressure. Oh, screw it. I'll just find another way out of here.
Monica? I didn't expect you to return.
After your little incident, I assumed that you went and hid under a rock like the little child that you are.
What is that capsule?
Wait! Are you after this too? You are, aren't you? Oh, you are so...
Stop it. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Don't play the innocent little girl with me. You can't fool me. You could never fool me. But maybe we can work something out. Give me your ID card. Yoko, you little lifesaver. I'm so glad we had this chance to catch up. Have a nice life. What's left of it. But I cannot remember myself. Yet I feel something will change dramatically when I know everything.
Earlier, I mentioned how George and Cindy seemed to lose their nerve and didn't head for the labs like the others, but there's actually a good reason for that, and it helps clear up one of the most confusing parts of Decisions. At the start of that scenario, George is seen in the RPD parking garage alongside other survivors. That moment has to happen before Desperate Times, yet only a few hours later, he's somehow at Raccoon University. So here's how we think it plays out. After the Hive, George and Cindy retreat to the RPD for safety. They stay there briefly, but leave before the siege begins on the night of the 27th. George comes across a note or a lead pointing towards the university, and they make the trip across the city during the 28th. They spend most of the 29th resting and regaining strength. By the morning of September 30th, they begin exploring the university, marking the true start of Decisions. At that point, morale is low and the situation inside is desperate. Other survivors die one by one, leaving George and Cindy completely alone. They cling to the hope that someone else might find them and help them, and eventually that hope pays off when Yoko and Alyssa get there.
This place too. What?
Dear George, I have vital information about the current city crisis which only you will understand. I'm waiting at the university. Please contact me as soon as possible. Peter Jenkins.
This is Raccoon University. Why there?
The next full scenario is Desperate Times, happening September 27th, late at night. The RPD is on its last legs, overrun but not completely fallen. A few survivors are still holding out. There isn't really a canonical main character for this scenario. Kevin doesn't appear as an NPC even if he isn't chosen, but for the sake of continuity, it makes perfect sense that he's the one who suggests heading to the station. Coming straight from Underbelly, Kevin, Mark, Jim, and David would naturally be drawn toward what they believe is the safest stronghold left in the city. Desperate Times is one of the most lore-rich scenarios in both Outbreak games, and it's actually quite straightforward to place in the timeline. It has to occur before Resident Evil 3, which begins on September 28th when most of the officers are already gone and Marvin is unconscious, but it also can't be too far before that, since we know Marvin's still barely hanging on at this point and finally turns on the morning of the 29th when Leon arrives. That makes the night of the 27th through to sunrise on the 28th the perfect window for Desperate Times. The team likely reaches the station after wandering the streets in search of safety, the same instinct that drew George and Cindy to the RPD briefly after the Hive, but right before this group arrived. Unfortunately, the chaos inside and Brian Iron's breakdown are already sealing everyone's fate.
Take a look at this. It's a map of this place back when it was an art museum. There should be a ventilation tunnel underground.
And that'll get us out of here?
It should, but it's so narrow you might be the only one who can fit through.
So I'll get help and come back, right? Looks like it's a race against time.
Now that we've lost communications, there's nothing else we can do. All right, everyone. We've got to hurry up and find a way into that tunnel. It's going to be our way out of here. It'll take at least an hour to get through a space this narrow. Use this to keep in touch with me. It doesn't have much range, but the signal should get through if I'm close by.
Leave it to me. I promise I'll be back with help.
Marvin! Marvin!
Hey, you made it!
Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm headed your way now. I'll pull the truck up to the front gate, so get everyone together there. I won't be able to keep that position long, so hurry up, okay? I'll contact you again later.
All right, be careful. Listen up, everyone. Help's on the way. Get to the front lobby.
Is this everyone? What about Marvin?
Move! Go, go, go!
Marvin!
Don't worry about me. Just get going.
No way! I'm not leaving you behind!
Whoa! Oh my God!
You don't need to worry about him, Rita. He was born to be a cop. It'll take a lot more than that to stop a tough guy like him. Hell, we haven't even finished training the new recruits yet. Right, Marvin?
I'm not dead yet.
And so begins the events of the first part of Resident Evil 3. So the next scenario is Flashback, happening on the September 28th at night time, with just Alyssa and Yoko, who have escaped from the labs on the train, which takes them to the edges of Raccoon City into the forest, where it just stops. Alyssa is the main character of this because she has an exclusive ending, and as a journalist, she wants to report on exactly what's happening in the outbreak, and she does get those answers from this episode. And if anything, this is what leads her into Resident Evil 9. So there's only the two of them here because Cindy and George are heading towards the RPD. It's a pretty odd scenario, but at the end of it, they get towards the end where obviously there is a barricade from the army, and they don't get turned round by them, but they see them and turn round. That's how they leave Flashback towards decisions.
I don't get many visitors around here. I hear the city's in quite a state right about now. Well, there is an old road through these woods that leads to the neighboring town. It's easy to get lost, I'm afraid. Let me show you the way. Let's hope no one gets hurt. It's not like there's a decent hospital around here after all.
Hospital?
So there you are, my dear. My dear Dorothy. I'll never leave your side again.
That hospital's experiments were more than just human rights violations. They were crimes against nature itself. Kurt, your sacrifice won't be in vain. I'll escape this damn town alive and spread the truth about what happened.
Now begins and ends Resident Evil 2, and you might be interested to watch my video on Claire A, Leon B stories side by side happening at the same time in one canonical story. So the final two scenarios, End of the Road and Decisions happen on September 30th and into October the 1st in the morning. The mix of both events start in the night and then end the next morning, October 1st, along with Resident Evil 3, when the city is destroyed. End of the Road has David as the main. He's in the intro, whether he's chosen or not, like Cindy in Wild Things, Alyssa in Flashback, Yoko in Below Freezing Point, and so on. Decisions starts properly when Yoko and Alyssa end up at the university to find George and Cindy, who fill them in on what needs to be done, and then it starts properly. How exactly did the Mark, David, Jim, and Kevin group get to End of the Road? Well, let's assume that the group of David, Kevin, Jim, and Mark have left RPD which has been overrun and destroyed, and they eventually stumble across the Umbrella R&D Center at around September 29th, now unguarded and holed up there with some of the last remaining scientists. So there's no conspiracy. Due to the location, this is the last safe place they could find along their path. This is where they learn all the research, meet up with the likes of Linda and Carter, and find out what Umbrella's role is in the whole outbreak. Eventually, things go sour there. They obviously realize that they can't stay there for too long, and they must find a way out. These two final scenarios are easy to place, and I'll splice the scenes together as one long story and then break down the ending chronology separately at the end.
Let me go!
No! It's way too dangerous to go back now.
I left something very important back there. Trust me when I say it's gonna be a big help to us later. I promise I'll be back before you know it.
Fine, but I'm not waiting long.
Fair enough. Thank you.
So long as you realize, if it's my ass or yours, you can bet my ass will be the first out the door, baby.
You all right, buddy?
Yeah, thank you. Wait a second! She's human!
Carter.
No!
You're here for the sample, too, right, Linda?
Yeah, now let's take that and get the hell out of here. You might want to get moving there too, stranger. Of course, you could always come with us. We got a helicopter waiting. What's going on?
Some kind of alert? Something's wrong. We should check it out.
Not now, of all times.
Too much growth weakens an organization. What should be important becomes overshadowed by greed. Mass production? Ridiculous! One masterpiece is enough.
Okay. I've reprogrammed it to take out those amphibian monstrosities instead.
My favorite choice for a bodyguard, but oh well.
No need to worry. He knows who his masters are. But that's not all. I packed in a special little present. So if worst comes to worst, tall, dark, and ugly is ground zombie meat. all, weapons are only so good in as much as you use them. What a masterpiece.
Yeah, let's just get out of here, okay?
Linda, looks like you already finished cleaning up here as well. Extraordinary. I told you, there is nothing to...
No! Carter!
Masterpiece.
Target is closing in! All right, come on.
The thing's too huge. These 9mm are useless.
Almost got him. Hold on!
Calm down. You must give me your blood.
Hey, something's wrong. Sir, let's regain our distance then. What the?
Impressive. I won't underestimate it next time. It must be going to the man. Might as well set it up. Just in case.
Can everyone hear me? It looks like the serum is almost ready. I want everyone to go to the lab.
Yo, you alright?
Thanks. I must have passed out or something. Wait, Carter. He didn't make it. My intuition was screaming at me to stop him from using that thing as some kind of a toy. Even the damn capsule got broken as well.
What in the hell is that?
Umbrella has been spreading a virus throughout the city. That little capsule contained what could have been the only possible cure to the virus. I ran a check on the capsule and basically know how to recreate a new version, but none of that means a damn thing unless I can get my pretty little head out of here. Huh?
My apologies for this place being so hectic. I have been monitoring your progress from here. I am grateful for your assistance. Daylight is it. The only resource against the T-virus. I cannot give it over to Umbrella. They're the ones responsible for the catastrophe which has befallen the city. In retrospect, that entire T project was a total disaster. Brute force should not be the only criterion for a weapon. It must also be beautiful, unique, and godlike. You will also assist me. You're going to play with my ultimate creation. Yoko, it's been 2 years. Oh, but you might not know that. After all, what happened was so terrible. I think you'd want to erase it from your memory. Farewell. Almost time.
This'll be the 99th rodent I kill. Wait a sec. I think that may be a live one. Eh, well, fuck it.
What are you doing? Get the hell out there and find them! How long do you plan to just sit here and do nothing? Can you get it through your thick skull? If the package gets out, it will be your neck on the line, not mine!
Sir, landmine placement complete.
Okay. That seals off any ground exit.
What? Did you forget I'm the one that gives the orders here? Wait! Think of the position I'm in.
100. Code XX. They plan to contain the incident the old-fashioned way, by blowing up the target location and everyone in it with missiles? Why didn't you say anything, you weasel?
I kept telling you to hurry!
Damn!
Oh! Well, where are you going? You need to find that capsule!
You do it. I'm not gonna go up in flames with the rest of the town. This job is turning out to be a lot hotter than I had expected.
Hey! Wait!
The order to put Code XX into effect has been issued. All units within the target area evacuate immediately. Repeat. The order to put Code XX into effect has been issued. All units within the target area evacuate immediately.
So it has begun. Guess I don't have much of a choice. Time to get my butt out of here.
What was that?
Is anyone down there? We're here to get you out.
Somewhere close.
There's a courtyard in that direction. Go there. We don't have much time. Hurry!
that the package?
What the?
I'm only going to show a couple of endings here and how some people may have gone out and which definitely did or which is up for debate. So first of all, Alyssa definitely survives because she is mentioned in Resident Evil 7 and she's obviously in Resident Evil 9. Linda, I think, survived along with Yoko because their epilogue video, which is shown, is them in court testifying against Umbrella, which I would consider that is really more than likely to happen. As for the rest of the characters, I'm not sure if it really matters and there's no confirmation. I would like to think that George is the one that was able to synthesize daylight in decisions, and he escaped with the sample. I think David probably survived because he is the one that's the main character of End of the Road, and I think that Linda does survive, and I think it was David that actually rescued her. As for the rest, it's not confirmed either, but I think some people escaped through the truck. Some people escaped through the helicopter with the fireman, and some people were airlifted out in the other ending for End of the Road.
Arrow 2, direct hit on the target, sir.
Angel 1, both missiles are confirmed hits. Return to base immediately.
This is Angel 1, roger that.
Arrow 7 and 10, direct hits.
Both Angel 2 and 3 have emptied their payloads.
Arrow 5 correction. In hit coordinates, west 0.5, south 0.1.
Roger.
This is Angel 6 reporting. Confirmed all fighters have emptied their payloads. Mission code XX complete. Repeat, mission code XX complete.
This is Heaven's Gate. We got you loud and clear, Angel 6. Mission code XX is completed. All fighters return to base immediately.
Roger that.
Arrow 8, 11, target hit confirmation. Arrow 3, 4, 9.
it's finished, I can finally rest. No, I have one thing left to do. I'm not a savior. It's just my duty.
So, the shit hit the fan and the fan finally busted. That's how Raccoon City came to pass. Come on, let's face it. Life, even if you aren't surrounded by zombie freaks, there's still plenty of other dangers waiting for you. So, whatever new crisis comes my way, it's just more of the same shit on a different day.
What's done is done. We can't take it back. However, we may be able to start again from the beginning. That's the one gift we humans have. We can rebuild.
There's plenty of stuff for me to do, and it won't be easy, but I feel like I'm really making progress here.